O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Hornet Sports Network. It's just me today for this episode for this week. It's been a short week. Snow's on the forecast, so it's been hard to record. So I just came in the studio and just decided to record by myself. This basketball team, they got a big win against Greenwood, 66-65. With Maddox Garrett hitting the game winner. Almost lost it. Greenwood had the ball and threw it away right into Maddox's hands, and he took it down the lane and got a game winner. It's his second in the last 2 years. If you remember last year, we played Monroe County in first round of district at Russell County, and he hit a game-winning three against them. So he's come up clutch in big moments. So big win. Also is Coach Brotman's 100th win, which he was already second all time in wins as a Hornets basketball coach, but that solidified it. 100 wins. He's the second coach to ever do so. Also on that day was Coach Mack's court dedication and the 40-year reunion of the 1985 basketball team. So I got to record him, and I think I showed clips of it last week in this podcast. But this week, I think you can go watch the video. It should be on one of the websites. But Coach Mack, I know he's proud of Coach Brotman and what he's did, turning the program around. But here's what Coach Mack had to say after his court was dedicated to him.
I'm sure, as most of you know, this is my cup of tea. I love to get out here and talk and do all that. No, it's really not, but I appreciate this so much. I do have a few people I'd like to thank. It won't take me just a second, but first I'd like to thank my wife Rita, because she had put up with me. She had put up with me every day, but especially on game days. I know I wasn't much fun to be around. I'd like to thank my family. They knew to steer clear when it was, we had ball games. I appreciate that. I want to thank McCabe County High School and McCabe County School System for this honor. I appreciate it. I would also like, John stole my thunder. Let's going to have those players stand up. But I'd like for some other guys that was very important to me when I was coaching. I'd like the assistant coaches that are here to stand up. Now come on out here. Come out here right on the back. Or Steve's hiding up top. I just want you to know, I do appreciate this. I'm not sure how warranted it is. But all I can say is thank you very much.
And then afterwards, they recognized the 1985 basketball team who went to the state tournament, won their fourth region championship, the only team in Metcalfe County history to ever do so. Only 11 members were there. The game had to be rescheduled. There was a lot of flooding Saturday, so Greenwood's school would not let them travel. So they rescheduled it to Sunday. Some of the players had to go back. But during that reunion, or whenever they recognized them on the court, they played a video in honor of Chip Nixon, who passed away. He was a great player. He was, I would put him probably the most important player of that team. He hit some big game winners. He's the point guard, which is the most important player on the court. Because if you don't have a good point guard to facilitate the offense, then it's hard to get the offense going, and then that affects your defense. And he was a really good defender, too. Of course, back in that day, it was so much different, more defense-oriented. The offense was a slow pace. They shot only good shots, because if you missed a shot back in that day past 10 feet, you're coming out, because all the points were the same except at the free throw line, which was one. But it was just a great night overall. Hornets got the win, Brotman's 100th win, and Coach Mack's court dedication, where his name will be on the court for eternity, I guess, unless they get a new court, which I doubt will happen. So we're going to move on now to Kentucky basketball. Kentucky did get the win last week against Tennessee, 75-64. They lost Lamont Butler again to an injury. He hurt his shoulder, but they still pulled it away. Travis Perry and Trent Noah played really good minutes. I think they combined for 19 or 18 points, something like that. They played great. Kobe Bryant was unstoppable. And then you go to Saturday, Kentucky played Texas, and we just could not pull away. We let that game go. Coach Pope was very mad. Here's his comments after the game.
Yeah, it was great. Great environment. Texas played really tough and physical. Congratulations to Rodney. They certainly earned the win. And you know, I thought our guys fought really hard. I thought we really fought. I thought we really competed, and I thought we did not execute the way you need to down the stretch to win a game.
Coach Pope was kind of aggravated after that game. One question somebody asked was something about the injuries, and he brought up, we got the guys to win right now, and we should have won. We played good for 36 minutes, and that last 4 minutes was awful, is basically what he was saying. And they did struggle. I mean, not having a point guard, I mean, you're four-string point guard, so that's basically 0 point guards with Butler, Creasa, and Robinson out. It's hard down the stretch to have good ball handlers, and just the mistakes they made were so just mental. They throwing the ball in and not paying attention and just giving it to the other team, stuff like that. Now they had the lead and they had a chance to win, and I don't blame. It's hard to blame the coach for that loss. I know he'll probably take the blame, and that's what a lot of coaches do. But injuries have just murdered this team this year, basically. Hopefully by March we'll be healthy, which the top 16 seeds came out, and Kentucky was 10th, which is the second 3 seed. So they were in Auburn's bracket, I believe. Auburn, Houston, and Texas Tech, I believe, was one of them. And then I think after the game, they was in Wisconsin's bracket or something like that. So they got work to do. But when this team is hot, they are unstoppable. They are hard to beat. They are the best shooting team in the country, best offensive team in the country whenever they're healthy and they're all firing on all cylinders. But I wouldn't worry about it. Next year, Pope's going to bring in some freshman talent, so you'll have that talent that people have missed this year. With what's his name, Marino, Johnson, Lewis, and more to come. next year's team will be either better than this team, more talented than this team, or they're going to struggle even more. But the good thing is the SEC cannot get any better than it is this year. So next year they might have a better record than this year, but next year's team might not be as good. But honestly, the SEC tournament is probably going to be harder than the NCAA tournament to win. Once you got 13 SEC teams that are going to be in the tournament, all battling in Nashville for a conference championship, it's going to be insane. And tickets are probably going to be insane too, because that's probably going to be the best SEC tournament in history. But another news, college basketball, St. John's, Coach Pitino has did an outstanding job. It's just insane how well he has put together that team in his second year. And you got to think, he's a better second-year coach than he's a first-year coach. See, last year they wasn't very good at St. John's. I don't think they might have made the tournament. I don't think they did. But first year at Kentucky, of course, they was on probation, and they didn't have the best record. I think it was like 14-14 or something like that. Second year, they was 25-plus win team, but was plagued by the probations of the previous coach, Eddie Sutton. But Pitino, I don't know if he still... See, the thing about him, what's different with Calipari, is Pitino seems to have evolved throughout his career. Like when second year with Iona, he also won. So I think it's just him studying college basketball at the moment and evolving to try to win, which is something that the previous coach at Kentucky, Calipari, struggled to do. He struggled to change. He struggled to, listen. He would not listen to his coaching staff. He put a coaching staff in there that did not make him better. And that's something Pope has done. He's put a coaching staff in there, and he listens to them. He listens to some great minds. And you got Coach Fox. He was a former head coach. You have the Hart from the NBA G League. He was a development coach. You got Cody Fuger, one of the best minds in college basketball. He uses the analytics, which is something you never heard the last 15 years with Cal. Now, with Cal, it did work the first 10 years because that's how you're supposed to win at college basketball. Nobody else was playing that way. So we had the advantage. But as the game progressed through time, it didn't work anymore. You had to move to a zoom action and cutting offense instead of the dribble drive. But Arkansas's win against Kentucky was a embarrassment to Pope's first year, probably the biggest loss in his career, and that's a hard loss. But it definitely helped a coach get his team on track. Arkansas's won a couple more games since then, so they're pushing their resume to try to get in the tournament, which would be insane after their 0-6 start, something like that. But it's hard not to root for Big Z and DJ Wagner, former Kentucky players. But at the moment, Kentucky fans are rooting against Cal, so it's hard. So we're going to preview tonight's game against Somerset, the Briar Jumpers at Somerset. The game got moved to 4 o'clock due to snow, and the boys are going to play first. The girls play second. It would be another signature win. It'd be win number 101 if Brotman can get it. It'd be a big win. Greenwood was probably the biggest win of the season by far. Somerset would also be a great win because I believe they're 5th region. And it it would just be more momentum going into the first round district game, which is against Monroe County again. So we're rematching up with them in the first round. Got to see some big rebounds and big minutes from Braden Page. He comes in and he just instant spark with the rebounds. We also need to make shots. Cruz Tucker makes some threes. Maddox makes some shots. Cade makes some shots. Hudson makes some shots. But talking about the district, Clinton County, who lost to Russell County the other night by like 12, something like that. We're going to have to match up with them in the first, or not the first round, but the second round, the semifinals, if we are to win against Monroe County. And we lost to them twice, but both games were pretty close. So it's not out of the question of us making the region tournament, but it's going to have to involve us being all in for the rest of this season. Because Sunday was the last home game for 3 of the players in College Drive who was hurt out for the year with a meniscus tear. But it will be a tough stretch with us also playing Caverna, which is probably iffy. It'll probably get canceled. And you can't play no games past the district. But with the snow, the district might get pushed back. The weather looks like it's not going to cooperate. It got moved to 4. The game already did from 4:30 to 4 at Cumberland County. That's where the district is. So the district might be pushed back, which might push back the region, which will also push back the Sweet 16. So you're talking about that week break you get between the region tournament and the Sweet 16. You might not get much of a break this year, which will be not as good for the smaller teams. The smaller teams won't get prepared as well as the big teams will, because big teams are just going to go out there and play. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up. It's been a great show. We'll be back next week with another preview of the district. Hint, hint, if we win. If we lose, we'll move on to baseball and maybe preview some football next week. Thanks.